There's a potential for a violent new top contender to emerge at 205 pounds. But despite the fact Khalil Rountree is really looking set to make his push into the top 5, those in the know have been aware of his talents for years. Take his opening appearance on The Ultimate Fighter for example. Khalil managed to hurt his opponent with a big barrage of shots on the feet, and they were punches throwing with incredibly mean intentions. But the trademark of Rountree is the way he throws extremely brutal kicks to grounded opponents. It's like Khalil fully understands just how deadly a soccer kick to the midsection is, and he uses them far more than any other fighter on the UFC roster. At this point, this season of Tough had already brought us a new fan favorite, but he would have to overcome some hurdles before finding his way into the top flight. Khalil would actually lose in the next round of the show, getting submitted after a back-and-forth war with Corey Hendricks. But Rountree's luck would not run out just yet. When it emerged that Hendricks had injured himself and was unable to progress to the next round, Khalil got a second chance. You better believe he took it. And with the pressure of being given one last shot on his shoulders, Khalil showed up in a big way in this Ultimate Fighter semi-final, scoring a brutal first-round knockout over Josh Stansberry, landing a big straight punch before bludgeoning him with a nasty barrage. And just like that, Rountree had gone from initially being eliminated from the tournament to getting a spot in the finals. Remember, if you're enjoying this content, be sure to leave a like and a comment before subscribing to the channel so you don't miss a single upload. Rountree would come up short against Andrew Sanchez in a performance that had the entire arena booing Sanchez by the end. Khalil would need to work on his game, that much was clear. And once again, Rountree found himself on the receiving end of a loss when he took on Tyson Pedro in a performance that showcased his limitations on the mat. Khalil could do so much damage to these guys on the feet, but his takedown defense was quite poor, and his submission defense along with it. Both of these were exploited perfectly by Pedro. Khalil actually dropped his opponent with a huge shot early on, but Pedro recovered, shot for a takedown, and was met with very little resistance as he moved to the back and secured the tap. Khalil would need to do some major work on his skills, that's for sure. Takedown defense was one of the first things that clearly needed work, and we certainly saw Khalil's anti-wrestling on display when he took on Daniel Jolly. Though his opponent fought hard to get Rountree down, Khalil was too strong. As soon as he made enough space, he landed some huge knees to get a massive KO, putting him firmly back in the win column. Taking a legendary kickboxer like Gokhan Saki could have been a very tricky matchup for Khalil, especially when you consider that this was a striker versus striker pairing. And yet the aging Saki simply was not able to stand up to Khalil's power. With a chin as battle-worn as his, it didn't take long for Rountree to find a clean land, and this pretty much brought Saki's MMA experiment to a violent conclusion. A big win for Rountree. But his hard times would not yet be over. The Khalil Rountree who would eventually rise into the top 10 at light heavyweight was not with us just yet, and he had the misfortune of running into a very informed Johnny Walker, who blasted through him in just under 2 minutes to move himself further up the ladder. It was a big setback, a very bitter pill to swallow for this rising talent. Something needed to change for Khalil. This time it had nothing to do with his ground game. After his loss to Walker, Khalil retreated to Thailand to train Muay Thai, and upon returning, he brought a brand new striking style with him. Eric Anders did not expect to come up against a strict Muay Thai approach from Rountree on fight night, but all of a sudden, Khalil was thrilling us all with a style that was nothing short of Bangkok ready. He butchered the lead leg of his opponent while dropping him several times with punches, showing just how well his natural power was translating to this new approach. This performance had Joe Rogan losing his mind cage-side, though Eric Anders did very well to survive until the final bell. A lesser fighter would have crumbled under this pressure. Rountree would actually lose his next 2 fights, Ian Kudalaba and Marcin Prachnio. But from there, this is where we got to see Khalil Rountree truly step up and come closer to achieving his clear potential. If you needed any further proof that this man is an absolute savage, just watch what he did to Modestas Bukauskas, a decent fighter in his own right. But man, Rountree decided to bring his A-game on this night. A hard, stabbing oblique kick to Modesta's leg basically caused his limb to buckle there and then. Not only did this take some excellent power on Rountree's part, but the timing here was everything. As brutal a leg kick TKO as you will ever see, and this would kick off a win streak that would see Khalil rise up to the ranking. It was back to basics for Khalil when he took on Carl Robertson, showing all of that insane punching power we've come to expect. After hurting Robertson on the feet, he began to empty the gas tank, and as soon as he spanned his way out of his opponent's attempts to tie him up, Khalil unleashed yet another soccer kick to his grounded adversary, landing with the type of power that could have easily snapped a rib or two, that's for sure. It was yet another highlight reel finish. Wasn't quite there just yet, but Rountree was improving. No doubt about it. Khalil is the type of fighter who really can make something happen out of nowhere, and at the the exact moment before he KO'd Chris Daukaus, it seemed like these guys were engaged in a pretty even exchange of shots. Khalil's countering ability was certainly getting better, but when he decided to lunge in with a huge knockout blow, Daukaus could not stand up to it. It took the referee just a few more seconds to realize that this fight was over. Yet another big moment for Rountree, one that finally earned him a top 15 opponent. Khalil's reputation was starting to grow, sure, but he needed a moment like the one he got in the Anthony Smith fight to truly build his reputation. Smith is a tough veteran, but a fighter who has also taken far too much punishment over the years. So to see Khalil land big on him, caused him to totally lose his balance and then proceed to hold his fist up in the air with a real menace to him, yeah, this was a truly perfect introduction for Rountree to the masses. It was violent, but it also showed Khalil's mercy and his composure in a firefight. That power he has at his disposal is no laughing matter, and thankfully the ref understood this immediately and called the bout off. And with this instantly viral moment now under his belt, Khalil moved comfortably into the top 10 at 205 pounds. When the call came from Dana White to take a fight with the former champion Jamal Hill, you'd better believe that he answered the call. Hill's coming off a brutal first-round finish at the hands of Alex Pereira. So taking a matchup with an absolute hammer like Khalil Rountree seems very risky. So what do you guys think? Will we see Khalil with a gold belt around his waist before long? Let us know in the comments below.